guys, Gets 134 here.
Average Joe Squad here.
And welcome to another episode of Review the Hyphen. Remember the Hyphen, the show where we look at...
You can't even remember our name. How are you going to remember the Hyphen?
The show where we look at comic books, video games, and everything between. I'm Gets 134.
And I am Average Joe Squad, as always.
We probably said that already, but certain people...
It's your own fault.
This is not my fault.
You have done that yourself.
So, how could you? I'm doing real well. I just got some Creo Transformers from 2015 at a dollar store.
I just got openly mocked in a fucking dollar store. Leave me alone.
Yeah, we've had some adventures today. It smells like garlic knots in here, by the way, as well.
Yeah, we had pizza. But...
Yeah, because I got Beachcomber. I actually had this one at home. Anyway, so actually I have both these on. All right, so a couple days ago, once again, we were doing some anniversary stuff here, because we actually have another one filmed that I haven't put up yet on the channel. But that one will probably come up. We'll go up this Friday, I promise. But we're gonna get this one up first because it has more importance. So a couple days ago, it was Batman Day, a day celebrating everyone's favorite Bat-themed superhero.
80 years.
80 years, yeah. No, it's crazy to think that him and Superman are like 80 years old.
And the next oldest set is probably Wonder Woman.
I would say probably Wonder Woman. I want to say DC's heroes are actually way older because I think most of Marvel's came in like the 60s.
Yeah, like Fantastic Four's from the 60s, Spider-Man's from the 60s. Like all the golden age of Marvel was 60s.
I think the oldest current Marvel character right now is Cap. That's just because World War II.
Because he wasn't even really Marvel.
Oh yeah, well he's
from Atlas, wasn't he?
No, he's from Star Spangled Comics actually.
That's what I mean. Is it from Atlas? Because Atlas was the publisher.
I believe so. So we decided we drew something a little special for Robins. We're doing Robins because we decided it would be something we could do real simple that would be easy for us to do. So we decided we'd talk about our favorite Robins, which means we're just basically going to talk about all the Robins in order, more or less. So I actually did a list of like what order I put Robins in. You probably won't disagree. You probably won't agree with me, but you want to just do them like that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go first, then I mean, it depends. We can do all yours first. We can do all mine then, or we can go back and forth like we do.
We might as well just go back and forth since we're just talking about the same.
Probably a little easier.
So I should mention we probably won't really talk about Stephanie. Stephanie's run as Robin.
Maybe I will. Just to make you mad.
Before we can get into that, why are we doing about Robins? I mean, let's be honest. Without Robin, Batman would be dead. Like, people always talk about how he's a loner and stuff, but without Robin and Alfred, he would be dead. Like, let's be legitimately honest with ourselves.
Yeah, the Reaper would have killed him in year 2. The thing that Mask of the Phantasm ripped off.
Excuse me, Mask of the Phantasm may have ripped it off.
If Mask of the Phantasm did it a hell of a lot better.
Oh, I actually was just watching a review of year 2. Was it
Bat Pages?
Yeah, it was back issues.
That's the last issue. That's the last episode of that because I think it got canceled.
No, it's still going. Or no,
it's the last issue of Bat Pages because I think Bat Issues or whatever. I'm pretty sure they're gonna stop doing it now.
Yeah, because I think people were not like. I love back issues.
I saw something online. It was about a YouTube algorithm or something. So maybe they got hit with something. Which, if it did, it sucks.
Well, I mean, they're probably gonna still do Batman stories, obviously, but I think the problem was it calls itself Bat Issues when their normal channel is Back Issues. So it probably made them lose a lot of...
Yeah, but beside the point.
But, Robin is such an important character, but, Hollywood does not believe so. Mainly
Hollywood
because...
doesn't believe in a lot of things. Like a good Fantastic Four movie.
Or that superheroes should fight colorful supervillains. They should just fight dudes in suits.
No, man, we gotta over-explain everything to you because the audience is a bunch of dipshits, Looking at you, Nolan.
Oh, we'll get to Nolan.
I feel like when we do our Nolan video, we're gonna get hate. Not that I give a fuck.
I don't care. If we get hate, that means these people
I deal with customers on a daily basis. You think I give a fuck?
Not only that, these are the people that are like, well, we hate your stuff. And I'm like, then you can just click off if you don't really want. Oh, no, I'm going to watch this whole thing and complain about every single thing. I'm like,
that's what I'm always like, man. It's like people said you hate. It's like, hey, if you don't like it, there's a little X button right up there in the corner.
well, these are the same comic people who are like, I hate this comic run. It's the worst run ever. I'm losing money over it. Then stop buying it.
Stop buying it.
Well, I got to collect it. Yeah, they're like a certain person in the car who I'm going to name.
I think we don't have that issue with Slot's shit on Spider-Man because he's not writing it anymore.
Yeah, but you said eventually you're going to have to collect his run since you want to collect
them. Eventually. But
actually, to be fair, you at least know it's garbage, but you're collecting it for collecting's sake. There are people who read it like in a masochistic way. That's like, well, I got to have it and I got to read all of it, even if it's bad. I'm like, you don't have to.
This video is supposed to be about Batman.
Getting back to Batman, so let's talk.
We've been talking a lot because we just had lunch. So We've been talking and bouncing between a lot.
Wait, no, and I feel like our podcasts do a little bit better when you and I kind of have like a natural conversation that leads into.
One of these days we're gonna have a podcast episode about just weird topics that we know about, weird stuff that we know about, because we can really feed off each other with that. So
yeah, we're like the snake eating its tail because we're two halves of a whole idiot.
Pretty much. But
so anyway,
getting into the topic.
So we might as well just do our 5. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up.
Because I think our top 5 will be a little similar.
A little similar. Some of them their place will be probably different.
Yeah,
so, but I'm pretty sure number 5, the least favorite Robin on our list.
Is it Damian?
Oh, it's Damian.
Yeah,
Damian Wayne.
With me, it's not. Are they really parking like that?
I don't think they're really parking like that.
Oh, anyway, sorry.
Well, I just loved how your head was like that.
Bad parking amuses me, but anyway.
Well, I love it because you literally like. I was like, ninjas. Ninjas. All right, but
top 5, Damian. So, for me, it's not so much that I dislike Damian. It's just that I haven't read a lot with him in it, and what I've heard, I'm not really that impressed with. But I mean I'm not really a fan of Jason either. So, but it's just I haven't read a lot of stuff that he's in it.
Yeah, for me, the problem with Damian is I liked him. He's one of the few characters that I think did really well in the New 52, because like the person who was writing Batman and Robin really realized that you needed to make Damian likable. Because, like, here's my biggest problem with Damian: he kills all the time,
which Batman doesn't kill.
And
no matter what Snyder says.
And it frustrates me so much because like he gets so mad at Jason being an armed thug who murders people because he's like the Punisher of the Bat family. And but Damian is just like, he just kind of like, oh, don't do that again, Damian.
There's a double standard going on.
Yeah. I also think he's kind of not necessary just because like,
I'm a wanted man, Jason. How can you be wanted, Damian? You weren't even a wanted child.
It's true. Well, and to be fair, a lot of the problems with that is because Grant Morrison legitimately originally created Damian just to kill him. He literally created him just so granted, he didn't actually create Damian. Damian was actually the product of a story that was made back in the 70s called Batman Son of the Demon?
I think it's Son of the Demon is what it's called.
Where him and Talia get married, and like Talia thinks she was pregnant, and then she loses the baby. But then
nobody ever stays dead.
Well, then at the end of the story, it's revealed she actually didn't lose the baby. But like they never did anything with it until Grant Morrison came along, and not only did they kind of like did he make Damian to be just an annoying character that he would just kill. He also made it so that it kind of ruined Talia as a character. I feel like Talia, I will admit, like it used to be she was like her father, but not completely. Like she didn't just murder people, sort of thing. Like she believed in her father's beliefs, but not to the point of her father. But nowadays she's like a psychopath. And it all starts with Damian. You know, like she hated the fact that he wanted to spend more time with his dad than her. So she creates a clone army of Damians and then kills him. Like she didn't even carry him to term. She legitimately like got knocked up and then put the embryo in like an incubator and like grew him out of a test tube, more or less.
Comics.
It's really messed up.
Hashtag.
But like I said, I do think like modern writers have done a lot more with him than say Grant, because again Grant basically. I will admit though, I did think Damian worked really well for Dick's Batman, back when he was Batman after Bruce died in Final Crisis. I thought, like, you know, having this really happy, not angsty Batman and a really angsty, brooding Robin was actually kind of an interesting dynamic.
Little change of pace.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I think Damian did really well with him and the modern writers who actually make it that Damian wants to redeem himself and that, like, he really does care about his dad. So it works, but at the same time, I understand if you don't want that anyways, just because, like, it's really unfair that they basically treat Damian as, like, Bruce's only kid when he has three other boys and a couple daughters, but a couple of girls that basically are his children. Like, it really frustrates you. Like, and I know, like, some people will tell, like, and we'll get to those relationships as we go on with these Robins, but for me, it's just so frustrating that, like, basically Damian more or less just became the default kid of the Bat family. Like, because at the time when Damian was introduced, like, Bruce actually adopted Tim. And technically Tim's, like, his adopted son, but... And that got dropped with New 52, so...
Oh, a lot of other stuff. Except year one. Year one, we always got a retcon back in.
Then I will have to admit, I did like Damian's run with Superman's son when they were still little kids.
Didn't they get canceled, like, fairly recently?
Yeah. Mostly because Brian Michael Bendis came along and decided that Jonathan needed to be a teenager. Because you can't write good superhero kid books. Power Pack.
Well, you know, and that's Bendis' thing, because he did the same thing with Ultimate Spider-Man.
I know, and I was kind of looking forward to him writing Young Justice at one point, because I was like, well, that's what he does.
Now it's kind of like a one and done.
Yeah. And then,
which is sad.
And then he's like, no, I'm going to just do Superman and just make him miserable. Because, you know, that's what everyone likes to read about Superman, is him being miserable. Oh, it's just bad. But do you have any more thoughts on Damian?
Honestly, not a whole lot, really. Like I said, I just haven't read enough of the guy to really like have a really well formed opinion.
Yeah, like I said, like I like things with Damian, and like I like some of the relationships they gave him. Like I like the fact that he treats Dick kind of like a big brother, and I loved him and Jonathan in Super Sons, which I recommend. That book is so fun. Like it's great. Like if nothing else, that was what Damian was built for, to be this psychotic, brooding child who's best friends with the kid of Superman, who's all happy and like a well-adjusted kid. It's an amazing read. So want to do your number 4?
Yeah, probably my number 4 is gonna be. Yeah, I'm coming up with this off the top of my head, guys, so I apologize for any delays here. My number 4 is probably going to be... As many issues as you and I have talked about there is with this, it'll probably be Stephanie. If only because I'm kind of in a minority. I like Stephanie's run as Robin, even though there's a lot of issues and a lot of BS that goes into her being Robin, like the whole Batman doing it so it'll piss Tim off and Tim will become Robin again. So
for those of you who aren't familiar, Stephanie Brown was originally a character called Spoiler. This was
I actually like Spoiler.
Oh no, I don't mind her as Spoiler. She's gotten a lot better. Like, part of the problem is with one of the things I have with Stephanie's writing is, well, okay, so basically, before I get into that, Stephanie was the daughter of a Batman villain known as the Clue Master, who was basically just a low-budget Riddler. Instead of sending out riddles, I send clues.
Dollar store Riddler.
That's basically what he is. But basically, she didn't like the fact that her father was doing all this crime, and so she takes on the mantle of a vigilante to stop him. Cassandra Cain! Sorry. To be fair, she was created before Cassandra. So basically, she becomes Spoiler. Her and Tim get into a relationship, mainly because Tim actually wants to, train her into not getting killed. But the problem is she acts like she knows better than, like, most of the Bat family. It's one of the reasons why I have issues with her. But, like, there are stories and stuff I liked. Like, I loved her relationship with Cassandra when they became good friends. But it's hard for me to say that they always did her right. It's very frustrating. That and the fact that, like, she was with Tim, who was a good character, and sometimes I think kind of drug him down a little bit. But
I'll valid complaints.
But like I said, like I have no problem with her. And when she became Batgirl, I actually thought she did really well. I thought that was an interesting thing. I will admit it was frustrating that Barbara didn't approve of her being Batgirl, but so like my main problems with her is she always acted like she knew better than like everybody, despite the fact that she was an amateur. And the other was more or less just the reason why Batman made her Robin. Like I said, at the time, Tim was unique as a Robin, because his parents were still, well, his one parent was still alive. His mother died in his origins, but basically, Tim's father, Jack Drake, was alive, and he technically lived with Jack. Jack basically finds out that he was Robin, and more or less tells him to stop being Robin. So, for a while, Tim gave it up, but Bruce was like, nah, this my Robin. I'm gonna make him come back. I'm gonna make him disobey his father, which is so out of place for Batman. It makes no sense for me. He's like,
there's a lot of bullshit that goes into how Stephanie becomes Robin.
I'm gonna take his girlfriend, and I'm gonna make her Robin just to tick off Tim. So he'll get so mad he'll have to take the mantle back. So ignoring the fact that he's doing it to make her boyfriend mad and basically drive a big
bat-shaped wedge
between them. You know, he makes her Robin and basically treats her like garbage. Like, he doesn't even really train her. He more or less just says, you know, here, go do Robin-y things, and occasionally, like, basically you're supposed to do what I tell you, and then she messes up in, like, the most minute way, and he's like, you're done. You had one chance, you're out. Like I said, it's very frustrating for me, her tenure as Robin, and especially because it eventually led to her death. Spoilers if you've never read War Games, but more or less, it just leads to a lot of bad implications, both for Batman and just comic books overall. That's more my opinion on it. That's why I didn't put, not because I don't think she did well. I just think out of respect for the character, I don't think it's good to remember one of the worst moments in her life. And thankfully, New 52 kind of retconned that out of existence.
So what's your number 3?
Oh, my number 4?
Oh, your number 4. My bad. I've got dyslexia with numbers. I apologize.
Oh, I mean, I was gonna say, did you want to say why you like Stephanie, or did you kind of?
It's more so I like the character in general. I guess is my very piss poor answer. I just like the character.
Like I said, I like some later stuff with her. Like I loved when she was Batgirl and she had to deal with the fact that her well, because her and Tim broke up at one point. But
yeah, I mean, I like Stephanie as Batgirl a lot more.
She is a pretty good Batgirl, although I will admit she gets nudged out by my favorite Batgirl, one Cassandra Cain. But that's just because Cassandra's awesome.
You know my opinion. I think Barbara is OG.
I mean,
best Batgirl.
That's fair. Although Barbara has the same thing I have with a certain other member of this list when we get to him, but more or less I think they were better after they left their first gig, more or less. But my number 4 is Bruce. I didn't do this because I was mad at you. I forgave you for not saving me.
It's Jason, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Jason. And to be fair, like,
you mean the Arkham Knight?
Yeah,
what's up, old man?
I meant his tenure as the Arkham Knight. That time he was so beloved for him that when they brought the Arkham Knight into comics, they made him somewhere else.
Jason. He's not Jason. He's a new character. Yeah, no, he's actually Jason.
So
the Arkham Knight thing is a huge joke.
So yeah, like I put Jason, like I know I put him above Damian because and some people will be like, well, he was terrible as a Robin, but like.
He wasn't terrible, it's just he was a bit annoying.
Yeah, he was annoying and he was kind of a jerk. He's the black sheep of the family, but like he's still important just because A, he is Batman's greatest failure. And B, I will admit, I actually thought he was great when they brought him back as a villain in Under the Red Hood. He probably would have been a little bit higher if not for the fact they keep trying to make him Deadpool. I'm really tired of them trying to make him Deadpool. Like, we have enough Deadpools in both Marvel and DC. There does not need to be another. So for those of you like I said, I loved him as a villain. I loved him like when he was the Wraith, when he was like trying to be like basically just a Batman that kills people. Actually, have you ever seen his costume in Battle for the Cow when he was masquerading as Batman during the Battle for the Cow?
I've probably seen it here or there.
Yeah, it has like the face guard and he's got like the guns. I really love his Batman costume.
I've seen it floating around the internet.
It's certainly better than when Two-Face was wearing a Batman costume.
You don't talk about that.
Yeah, no, that's a big oof.
Big oof. It's big oof than Polka Dot Man. Big oof.
Yeah, but like I said, I like Jason as like this villain for like, and I'm not saying like he should be like full on villain. He's more of an anti-villain. Like he's like, you know, Batman's methods are what got me killed, so I'm gonna be like, I actually think he should be like the Punisher of the group. Maybe a little unhinged in wanting to kill Tim, because I've always thought it would be interesting to make him like a villain for Tim, where he's just like, no, you took the mantle. He replaced me. I was Dick's replacement, and you replaced me. Like it would have been interesting, but like they never really did anything with it that was interesting. And then Red Hood and the Outlaws happened, and ugh. Granted, that story does more bad to Starfire and Roy Harper. Hi, I'm Starfire, and I'm a sexual goldfish. No, that's legitimately what she is in Red Hood and the Outlaws. Like, I'm the super hot alien chick that you can bang, and that there's no emotion to it. I just like to bang men, and I don't even remember them because humans all look the same to me. Because apparently that's what they wanted to go with her. Oh,
yeah, that's pretty awful.
I really hate Red Hood and the Outlaws. But like. And to be fair, I know like they did a really good job with making like the Dark Trinity, where like they had like a Bizarro, and ex-Amazonian named Artemis, like, and that was interesting, but like at the same time, like it was going towards basically making him a villain again, or more dark and serious. Especially because I think they killed Roy off to make that happen, which, yay. But like I said, I like Jason well enough. Like I like him as being this dark red mark on Batman's history. I actually thought bringing him back to life was actually really a brilliant move, especially to make him like a villain. My only real complaints is it never stuck. In that there's been a lot of problems with Jason as a whole and how they want to make him work. But because like I still don't understand why he's allowed back in the cave. I really don't understand why he's allowed back in the Batcave. It really frustrates me. But that's my number 4. Like, I like Jason. Like, there's interesting stuff about him, but like, a lot of his run is not for me.
It's all about what you're looking for, as I always like to say.
True. And to be fair, I know a lot of people like Jason, and I mean, more power to you. Like, I like his outfit. I like the whole biker motif thing he's got going.
I honestly don't mind him as Robin, to be honest. I think he's a bit of a, to put it lightly, I think he's a little bit of a dipshit at points, but I mean, you can argue that for everybody. I mean, I even think Barbara's had some moments where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, no. Well, that's what happens when you've been written for decades, but... I mean, to be fair, I always liked his origin, where he was just some kid who tried to
steal the tires off the
Batmobile, and Batman was just like, oh... You cocky little thing. You know what?
God, I'm tired today. I don't know why.
Hi, tired.
Listen here, Dad. How about you chill?
You know, we call each other Dad like we're Harry and Peter Parker back in the 60s. But, yeah, I think that's basically all we have for number 4. You want me to do 3 next, or?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So my number 3 is probably going to be a bit odd for some people. Just because they're going to say, well, this isn't in canon. My number 3 is Carrie Kelly from The Dark Knight Returns.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, I like Carrie. She's low on this list.
I know you have issues with that storyline.
Well, to be fair, I have issues with Dark Knight Returns, but it's more so in the later stories that Frank Miller did with them, and mostly because like I actually think the first Dark Knight Returns, is pretty good for the most part. My main problems with the book is
Frank Miller.
Yeah, well, Frank Miller's writing, but mainly just the talking head stuff that they do, because you had to like read those talking head scenes like every other page. And well, I get that was kind of like the idea, like, you know, this is what the media is like and stuff, and it gets old after a while when you read it.
Doesn't he? I forget. Does he do a similar tactic in like Daredevil when he does Daredevil?
Not really. Mainly his things with Daredevil is the Elektra stuff that most people remember.
Like, doesn't he even put a lot of like religious?
Well, yeah. I mean, to be fair though, that fits for Daredevil because he's Catholic.
That makes sense. So, I was just wondering because that's a Frank Miller thing.
Mainly, his thing with the thing he does with Daredevil and what he does with the Dark Knight Rises or the Dark Knight Returns is the text balloons. You know, his noir style narration, which works fine. I just sometimes it gets a little too purple prose for me and a little too long in the tooth. I'm like, just get to the story.
Yeah.
But one of the best things I like about that is Carrie. So Carrie Kelly is the daughter of basically two hippies who are so busy getting high that they don't really have time for their kid. So, you know, when Batman comes back on the scene, she's inspired by him and she goes out, buys a costume store Robin outfit and goes out and tries to be a vigilante. She was inspired by Batman to do good, and she does. And like I said, I really like, especially because like one of the reasons why he recruits her so well is when he first goes to fight the leader of the mutants, and he just gets the crap beaten out of him because as he says later on, like, I tried to do this like I was a young man, but I'm not a young man. I had to do this like an old man. Like he tried to fight the dude because like the dude's like, oh, you're so tough when you're tank, you can't face me on your own. And then Alfred's like, sir, I would rather you didn't. And he's like, no, he's right. And he doesn't think, you know, because like he's like, you know, I'm Batman. I can.
Yeah, he can take on anybody.
Yeah, because really the mutant leader is just some muscly punk. And you know, but the problem is Batman forgets that he's like 60 years old.
Yeah.
So the dude just.
He's not a spring chicken anymore.
Yeah, but he gets saved by Carrie, and I love the scene because poor Batman is so out of it. He thinks like Jason's in the because like the whole thing with because this actually did the death of Jason Todd before the actual death of Jason Todd. Like in Dark Knight Returns, it's implied that he stopped being Batman because Jason died. Alfred's like, you know.
Because this is even before Tim was a thing, right?
Oh yeah, this was actually back when Jason was still alive. Like this, like I said, this was like a couple.
This is like late '80s, right? Because Reagan was still in office.
Yeah, this was a couple years before they killed Jason off for real. And so like he sees this kid in a Robin costume, and he's like, what's your name? My name's Carrie Kelly. I'm Bruce Wayne. I'm Bruce. He's so happy to have a Robin. And to be fair, and for me, she's kind of what helps Batman kind of come out of that dark place he was in. And just overall, I like her. You know, she's the one who kind of made the whole Robins use slingshot thing a thing because that's her main weapon. Like every Robin has their main weapon, and hers is
Tim has the
bow staff. Yeah, and I think it's really well done, and it also kind of plays into why it's kind of messed up that Robins are children. Because when the Joker gets out in that book, she sees he kills a bunch of Boy Scouts with poison cotton candy, and she sees all these dead bodies, and she starts basically having a mental breakdown because she's he catches Carrie after he gets off. She gets because she gets in a fight with one of the Joker's goons, and the dude gets his head stuck in the roller coaster and gets basically ran over by a roller. You don't see it, but and in the narration it says that Carrie for the first time sees the dark side of being Robin.
Yeah. And
then she sees all these kids die, and she starts crying in Batman's arms, and he holds her and he's like, good soldier. He's like, you it's okay. It'll be all right. You did good.
Yeah.
Because
it's actually interesting. Dark Knight Returns is actually, I want to say, because I was real big into comics when I was little, and I want to say probably about 2008 I stopped, just because it was that period where I was really into music and I was going into middle school, and I want to say.
Did you have the flaming pants?
No.
With all the
no. No, I'm the first to. It's kind of like how I was watching Joe Rogan's podcast with Rob Zombie the other day. I was a fucking weirdo. I'm the first to admit to that. I didn't know how to fit in with people, and
I mean, I'm the guy who read manga at the lunch table, so I relate.
But I always used to hang out in the library a lot, and my high school had graphic novels, and I was looking through them one day, man, let me find something to read. I'm looking through, and they had Batman, Dark Knight Returns, and
no.
And I'm like, I've never read this, and I haven't read a Batman story in a long damn time. Let me get this. digested the whole thing in one night because I was like, man, this is good. That was actually the first thing I want to say that got me like back into like being like, comics are good. Comics can tell a great story.
And like as someone who's not much into Frank Miller's modern stuff, I will admit his old stuff is really good. Like for me,
seems to be an issue everybody has anymore.
Like, I will admit I prefer Year One more because I think it's much closer to Batman. There's a lot of good in Dark Knight Returns, and like I said, the only reason Carrie is number 3 is because the 2 Robins that I have at the top are like my favorite Robins, and you probably all know what they are. But for me, it's the fact that later on they would constantly he would do weird stuff with Carrie. Like in Dark Knight Returns 2, she puts on a Catwoman-esque costume in honor of Selena Kyle called Catgirl, and it constantly changes what it looks like, but like it looks like an anime Catgirl, and it's really weird. And then in Dark Knight 3,
makes me glad I have never read 2 or 3.
In Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, and yes, that is what he calls it, Batman dies. But Superman's like, no, you can't die yet, Bruce, even though he's like 90 years old.
Only then you have my permission to die.
Because at this point, he's so old, he's having Carrie dress up as Batman. Well, she's Batwoman, obviously, but they try to make it seem like he's still Batman's still around. I think it's really weird, because like she gets arrested by the lady that takes over for Commissioner Gordon. And she's like, he died and then I ate his corpse. And she's like, because apparently that was what Bruce told her to say. But basically, she's like 18 at this point, because like it's supposed to be like a couple years in between each one. But
so she theoretically could be Batgirl.
Well, she's actually Batwoman. She calls herself Batwoman. Because she's like, no, I'm 18. She wears like this really awful looking Batwoman costume that's like purple and green. Yeah, it's like Joker colors, and I'm like,
I could even take purple and black, like what Stephanie wears.
But eventually, she does get
black
like a purple and green. Eventually, she goes to a more traditional Batman color, like it's gray and black.
What is up with that color?
Oh, it gets better.
What is up with that color choice?
So after Bruce dies, Superman's like, no, you can't die yet, Bruce. I need you. He throws Batman into a Lazarus pit.
Oh, Jesus.
So that he can now be like as old as
what, like Raish?
Yeah, and now just the ones. Like they're like he can't die yet. We need like so basically he just gets dumped in there once. And it regresses him to like, peak of his prime Batman. He's like how he is in the comics. Which defeats the purpose of the Dark Knight Returns, which is supposed to be about an older Batman.
Kind of like Batman Beyond-ish, Batman.
Yeah, no, because he's elderly and they legitimately kind of imply that the reason they did it is so that him and Carrie can bang. Yeah, that's
this kind of shit is why I have issues with Frank Miller.
Oh, it gets better. He's making another one. He's gonna make a 4th one.
Oh my God! Why can't he just stop? It's time to stop. Time to stop. Where are your parents?
I'm Frank Miller. I'm gonna make a Batman one where he fights the Taliban. It's gonna be real racist and fucked up.
No, mate. I'm Alan Moore. I'm here to tell you that it's all horseshit. You should go buy Watchmen instead.
He did do that, by the way. That's holy terror.
Go buy Watchmen.
Oh, don't listen to any of them. I'm Grant Morrison. You should pick up Batman and Son, where I prove that Batman is greater than Superman. Hey, do you mind if I have any of the mushrooms I found in your crawl space?
Oh my God. We need to do an episode at some point where we just make fun of comic book writers.
Oh, there's so many comic book writers I'd like to. But
getting back to topic.
But yeah, so that's Carrie, number 3. I think you said your number 3. Or did you say your number 3 yet?
My number 3 is Jason. So I mean, we've already said what we need to say about Jason. So
yeah. All right, then I guess we'll go to number 2. Why don't we do what your number 2 is?
My number 2 is Tim Drake. And granted, I'm basing a lot of my Batman knowledge is admittedly because I grew up as a massive fan of the animated series, and as well as Batman Beyond, because they're basically interconnected. And Tim was always the Robin I kind of saw as Robin. I always saw Dick as Nightwing, which granted, although like I had like I said, my uncle had a lot of older comics where Dick was still Robin, but I don't know. I always associate Tim with Robin more. I don't know why.
And to be fair, it helps that when you and I were getting into Batman comics, he was Robin.
Yeah, he was Robin.
Especially because they more or less took Dick's costume from Tim's costume.
I actually had some of the Robin solo run as a kid, and where it's Tim. Yeah. Which is weird, because like you probably remember the storyline better than me. He's like up in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
With like a snake cult or something.
Yeah, that's where he trains with Lady Shiva. That's actually the first Robin mini. Because Tim was actually the first Robin to have a mini, like his own series. Like, not even Dick did that. Like, the closest Dick got was
I remember
Teen
getting
Titans,
a couple of
Teen
those
Titans.
when those were coming out.
I'm going to hold off on my Tim, because my number 2...
Is it Dick?
Yeah, it's Dick. Now, before
I think I know your reasoning, but I'll let you explain.
Now, before you all get mad at me, I love Dick. Lots of ladies love Dick. We can't get enough of Dick.
Ain't nobody ever talked about Dick before, but everybody's talked about Dick since.
The
Dick Wars.
If anyone asks who's got the best ass in the DC universe, Dick Grayson. So, I love Dick to pieces. He's a great character. He's everything that Bruce isn't. Like, there's a reason why I love in Infinite Crisis when the Golden Age Superman is trying to get Bruce to come to his side. Because he's like, my DC universe was so much better. My favorite line in that is when Batman looks him in the eye and he's like, all right, then I want you, there's one thing I'll know that if it's better. I want you to look me in the eye and tell me that your Dick Grayson was any better than mine. Like, because that is legitimately how much Bruce, like, because Dick is, like, I call him the prodigal son. He's legitimately, and I know he really doesn't want it, but if Bruce was to pick any Robin to be Batman after him, it's going to be Dick. Like, legitimately, Dick is, like, his greatest achievement. And I know that sounds, like, kind of weird, but, like, because he's everything that Batman is and everything that Batman isn't. Like, the fact that he can actually have friendships in the superhero community is what makes him great. However, I've always thought that Tim, or
you think you see him more as Nightwing?
I do.
It's like how I see Tim as Robin.
Because when I got into comics, Dick was Nightwing. In fact, I think Dick starts becoming his own character when he becomes Nightwing in the pages of the Judas Contract. When he's like, I need to be my own man. Like, I don't say anything else about, like, I won't say that Dick's time as Robin was bad or anything like that. He was the good soldier that Batman needed. But for me, the best time for Dick was when he was Nightwing. Where he becomes his own man, where he leads the Teen Titans, where he more or less becomes a greater hero than Batman in a lot of ways. And that's why I like why Dick is 2. He's still probably one of the greatest Robins ever, but, like, for me, like, Dick's greatest achievements and stuff is when he's Nightwing. And that's more or less my feelings on Dick.
Like I said, it's kind of like, as I always say, and I know it's probably going to become a cliche of the show, it depends on what you're looking for. Like I said, the reason I put Tim at number 2 is that, although he's who I see as Robin a lot, just because of, animated series and Batman Beyond, at the same time, it's kind of like, when I look at animated stuff, I see Tim. Yeah. Tim is Robin. When I look at comics, Dick is Robin.
Which is
it's kind of like, it's weird, because like I said, I kind of had a weird development as a child, because, like, I was watching TAS, and I was reading Golden Age stuff, so, like, I was kind of getting both sides of what was going on. And
part of the other problem is, let's be honest, Dick made the Robin costume without pants. Bruh, I get that you got them toned legs.
Bruh.
But, like,
bruh,
you're going around Gotham in winter without pants. Like, that's why Tim's my number 1 right off the bat. He has pants. No other Robin had pants before Tim.
Yeah, but Tim's never hit somebody so hard that speech bubbles have appeared up above his head in the TV show.
But,
bam. Biff.
Thank you. But, so I'm pretty sure everyone can figure out, my number 1 is Tim. And there's a lot of reasons for that. For one, Tim is the only Robin that wanted the job. They didn't do it because, like, oh, I'm doing it to avenge my parents, or, oh, Batman recruited me into it.
I'm gonna make you my Robin.
Yeah, like Tim.
I don't pay much. In fact, I don't even pay anything. Except, I could pay you in justice.
But that's not gonna pay my college bills.
Justice.
Okay, justice. But like I said, because, like, for one, Tim is the best detective out of all the Robins. Like, he figured out who Batman and Robin were purely because when Dick was Robin, he did, like, this crazy acrobat feat that only, like, a trained acrobat could. Like, he is like he's done all this detective work in his own right. But like for me, it's always that Tim was like, no, Batman needs Robin. Like he went to find Nightwing and was like, you got to be Robin again because I don't know what happened to him, but he's becoming unhinged and a lunatic. And Dick was like, look, dude, it's been too long for me to put on those tights. If you think he needs a Robin so badly, why don't you do it? And that's what Tim did. Like he went out and strove to try and be a better Batman. And to be honest, in my opinion, I think out of all of them would actually want to be Batman. Because like Dick has taken the mantle up, but he never really wants to be Batman.
He has the issue of he doesn't want to live in Bruce's shadow.
Whereas Tim is like, no, I'm the next world's greatest detective. I want Batman's legacy. I buy what you're selling, Bruce.
I can do it.
You know, and not only that, like Tim, much like Dick, has friendships. He for a while was leading the Teen Titans too. Granted, it got kind of weird when his best friend Connor died and he started banging his best friend's girl. But to be fair, they got over that pretty fast. You know, Tim was like, "Bro, I'm sorry. Like you were dead, and like
we all just tried to move on.
And even Connor was like, bro, I get it. You two were like emotionally raw. It didn't happen. Granted, it put a bit of a strain between their relationship for a while, especially because Cassie ruins everything she touches. I'm sorry, she's like the worst thing ever. I know people love her as Wonder Girl, but she is so frustrating. Especially New 52 Cassie. I'm not Wonder Girl. I don't want to be in her shadow. Then stop wearing Amazonian armor. No, that frustrates me so bad. She's
older, smarter, prettier.
It's like the Batwoman TV show where she's like, I don't want people to think
It'll look better when it's made for a woman.
I'm like, then stop wearing the Batwoman costume and pick another character to be.
I'm interested to see that show, but at the same time, I'm walking into it thinking like, man, this.
Yeah, no, because
how is this gonna come off?
Because the Batwoman.
I'm not saying that because like,
yeah,
I like Batwoman.
Yeah,
I like Kate. It's just the problem of how is this gonna translate if that's the tone the teaser is setting.
Yeah, no, it's like, I mean, granted, it's not as bad as Dick saying "fuck Batman" in the Titans, but
Titans is its own little thing.
Oh man, one of these days we might have to just sit down and watch that show and then talk about why we hate it so much.
Buy season 1 and just binge it and be like, I don't know what to say.
Especially because people keep like, season 2 looks really good. I'm like, oh, it don't look good to me, not because it still looks like the first season.
Could be wrong.
No, but it's great because Jason's in there. I'm like, I don't care.
I'd rather get caught up on Supergirl so I can watch the Red Daughter arc.
But like I said, I liked him, and I know he also has problems. Like, I hate the fact that people, like, writers keep trying to make him more like Bruce. I don't want that. I have Bruce Wayne.
Tim is Tim. Bruce is Bruce.
Because, like, that was one of the...
Joker is whoever the fuck he wants to be on that given day.
Because, like, while I loved the Red Robin run when he first got the costume during the like, where he was like, Bruce is still alive, he kept doing more and more Batman things that kept driving him away from both the Titans and, like, the Bat family. And I'm like, stop doing that. The other thing is they keep wanting to make him evil. Because, like, I don't know if you knew what was going on, but during Rebirth, another Tim Drake from the future comes in, and he's a gun-toting lunatic.
What's up with us trying to make heroes villains? I mean, that's a trope in and of itself.
We might just have another podcast.
Comic tropes.
Comic
tropes.
We might just have to do, like, stupid heroes becoming villain stories. Like, have you heard of the Monarch thing? That's rough. But in general, like, I still like Tim. He's my favorite Robin. It probably, a lot of it has to be because when I was growing up, Tim Drake was Robin. But for me, it's just that he could be the next Batman. Like, and it's so frustrating because modern writers, they only care about 2 Robins anymore, and it's Dick and Damian. Like, they basically made it that Jason is Red Hood, and they don't know what to do with Tim. And it's so frustrating, because now he's getting another redone where he's in a terrible-looking costume and calls himself Drake. And I know Dick was a spy for a while and called himself Grayson, but that was actually well done.
He got shot on Degrassi?
More or less. But
reference for only those who are informed.
But but like in general, like Tim is my favorite. Like just because I think he is next to Dick. Like, well, Dick may be the prodigal son. Tim is like the one in the father's footsteps that I like him. I want to one day see him be Batman. I think it's unfair that most modern writers don't know what to do with him. But and
it's kind of like how for a while modern writers didn't know what the hell to do with Mary Jane, or rather didn't really want to do anything.
Okay, guys, I got it. What if Mary Jane wore a superhero costume and called herself Jackpot?
Okay, Slot, chill the fuck out over there.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna still do the Jackpot thing anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna make her Mary Jane.
Even though that makes no fucking sense.
Okay, guys, I got it. Her name is Slapstick. She's a YouTuber, and she uses her YouTube fandom to commit crimes.
I have one of two things. I have one thing in each hand. I have $1 million, and I have a gun. Which one am I going to give you?
I hope it's $1 million.
No, it's the gun. Get the fuck out of here.
Is it a money gun?
No. I hate Dan Slott with a passion.
You know, I remember a story where Doc Ock masturbates in Peter's body to images of sex with Mary Jane.
Just stop. That doesn't happen. The storyline's fucking stupid.
No, clearly Doc Ock is the superior Spider-Man. He clearly can do things much better than Peter, even though he's a known lunatic.
Clearly Slott has no dick, which is why he's so obsessed with making everybody else a gigantic one.
Is this true? All right, yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Yeah. So.
Grayson.
We'll just have to do a video called Bashing Dan Slott, and then I'll send it to him on Twitter just to piss him off.
Only if I can do one about how Dan DiDio is out to get me. Like, we didn't even get into how Dan DiDio hates Dick Grayson with a passion. He hates psychics in general. I don't know what his deal is, but he, like...
It's like how Nolan hates costumes.
I just realized we forgot to talk about the most important Robin. Rick Grayson. Really? If I could, I would cue the SpongeBob.
My name's
not Rick!
I'm glad that you were thinking the same thing. All I could think of was that.
So anyway, guys, I think that wraps up this video about our talk about Robins.
It's a pretty short one, but you know, it's short and concisive, and we're not running an hour and a half over.
Well, you know, and I think there's more room to talk about, like, especially if we want to talk about stories later on.
Yeah.
But you know, like, I just wanted to talk about why I like certain Robins more than others. And like I said, I like things about all of them. Like, I don't think any other Robin but Jason could be his Robin in Batman the Cult. You know, that story where him and Batman had to take out guns and shoot people with rubber bullets and tranq darts. By the way, don't go read the Cult unless you're not squeamish, because that book gets real rough. You know that part with Deacon Blackfire and Arkham Knight? Oh, that's not nearly as it's not nearly as messed up as the book that's based on. But anyway, guys, I think that's gonna be it for this episode of Remember the Hyphen. Do you have any closing statements or?
Fuck Batman.
So
that's my classic statement.
This will be the last episode Colton appears in. But you know, as always, I hope you all have a good night. Take care, and as always, remember the hyphen. Take care.